All right, wow, 5 o'clock. So, I know it's 5 o'clock, and I know you guys are a little bit tired. I know that. I'm going to try and be, as entertaining as possible for you, since you were kind enough to show up to my presentation. Matter of fact, I'll do even more. I'll try to engage you a little bit, so let's see how that works out. If you're sitting in a company right now, and you want to do data science, but you just don't know how to start, say aye. Thank you. If you're sitting in a company where you have a lot of data and most of it is used for transactional reporting and it just pisses the hell out of you, say aye. Thank you. Last but not least, come on, put some gut into it. If you want to do data science in your company and you really want to, and you really want to take your company to the next level and your business to the next level, say aye. My name is Adrian, and welcome to my story. It's a cute story, right? If you're anything like me, and I'm assuming based on your answers to my poll that you are, you usually feel like if you want to introduce data science in a big company, it's pretty much like you're getting dropped with a helicopter in a forest, and it's nighttime, and you have a pocket knife, and the forest is on fire. So you don't really know where to start. And I apologize for those of you that are a little bit hungry. I didn't know I was going to get this time slot, so my analogies will be about food. I found that it's very easy to think about introducing data science to big organizations if you formulate it as a recipe. And it is actually a recipe to introducing data science into an organization. So when you want to make a new dish, you look for a recipe online, right? And you find the ingredients that you need. For this particular case, you're going to need a business case, so you're going to need a problem to solve. You're going to need some data to support your business case because you need to work with data. It's self-explanatory. You're going to need a mastermind, and I'm going to come back to this terminology because I think it's really exciting. You're going to need some basic understanding, data science, data engineering, machine learning, nothing major. You're going to need a success criterion. So when do you know that you were successful introducing data science in your company? You're going to need to know how to plate your dish, so how to present your results to the company, involve the stakeholders, make them excited. And you're going to need to serve it while it's hot, right? So you need to always keep them engaged. So when you start doing this, what is the first ingredient that you need? Well, you need your case. You need your problem. In the real world, you need olive oil or butter or whatever you use to cook food, but you cannot introduce data science in your company if you don't have a problem to solve. So in our case, I'm going to talk in parallel about my story in the company. In my case, we had this issue or this business case that our salesmen are on the road all year long, and they can probably visit 2-3 clients a day trying to sell hearing aids. Sometimes 4, but it's a stretch. But when we looked at the data, we found out that the way they choose those 2-3 clients is not necessarily data-driven. It's basically which clinic is closer to the highway, which clinic is closer to this nice restaurant where I can take a nice lunch, proximity-based usually. So for us, sitting behind the desk and trying to analyze the data, it really felt like it was a lottery. That, by the way, is a very old, I don't know why I picked that picture. Anyway, it felt like a lottery. So the business case for us was, how can we turn this lottery machine into something more intelligent, into something more data-driven, so we can combine data science and the salesman intelligence and experience to create something of more value, to recommend them the clinics that they should visit in their geographical position. So that's what we did. We went out and got the second ingredient, which is the data. So we went and looked for what kind of data do we need to actually analyze this. So we went into our CRM system, we went and looked for appointment schedules, we went to look at transactional data, and we found, we think, enough data to start building a model and start predicting, outcome. So then came the next question. So how do we begin? Well, for this, you need a technique that was coined a very, very long time ago by Napoleon Hill, and it's called the mastermind. And it's been, you've probably heard this before with many other names, but he was the first one to discover this. He studied all the successful people in his time. He made research throughout his life, about 25, 30 years, and he studied successful people. And he found out that successful people hang out with successful people. That's why rich people get richer, right? So, for example, Henry Ford would meet with other giants from other industries, so they wouldn't cannibalize on each other's business. They would meet regularly, and they would try to solve each other's problems. So they would pool their intellectual, knowledge into a mastermind. They would click, and they would just help each other a full day. They would sit and they would try to solve each other's problems. And this was the case for Henry Ford, for J.R. Tolkien, for Andrew Carnegie, some of the big giants in his generation. They were doing this. And sure enough, we did the same in our team. We went and found the best people in different departments that had connection to this business case, right? Business analysts and business controllers and business development managers, and we just started working on it. So after we built a team, after we built our mastermind, the next ingredient that I was talking about was the success criterion. So how do we know when our data science project is finished, or successful for that matter? And what we did is we asked the company, right, the salespeople, so when is a visit to a clinic successful for you? And they told us, well, if we visit a clinic and 5 days maximum after that we sell something, then it's a success. So we said, okay, that's very palpable, that's very concrete, and I recommend you do the same when you try to introduce data science. And so we took the salesman in Germany where we ran this business case, and we saw that on average they have a 12% success rate. So that was our number to beat, basically, if we were to be a success. Our model was supposed to perform better than the average salesman in Germany. And as a spoiler alert, we reached 40% by the end of the project. Not to brag, but thank you. Yeah. Anyway. When you're cooking food, right, or when you're working with your first data science project, it's very important, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah, it's very important to taste your food while you're cooking. It's such a rookie mistake when you first begin cooking if you don't taste your food, because you don't know what you're cooking. So in the same way, we tried to put an MVP, a minimum viable product, as soon as possible to the salesman. It didn't have to be anything fancy. Matter of fact, it was something like this. Whoa, wait a second. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, so basically what we did, we took all the data that we can find for the salespeople, and we built a table in Excel, and we built a column called success factor, where we basically just use a very easy mathematical formula to calculate, success. It's recency, frequency, monetary. It's a very easy mathematical formula. And we said it was machine learning because we knew that people back in that time, it was a very big buzzword. And we thought, let's use this smoke and mirror technique to see what their reaction is. Will they accept it like this? And so we gave it to them, and they used it, and they gave us feedback. And I don't know if you ever worked with German salespeople, but they can be very blunt. And they told us, I can't trust these numbers. I don't know what the hell is going on. They make no sense. I don't know how you calculated them. But I do like the Excel table, because I can just filter zip codes, and I can find the address and the phone number, and I can see when I visited them last, and I can see the profit, and I can see the potential. This is data that they didn't have access to. They had to literally sit in their car, open their laptop, log into the VPN, log into CRM, oh, I forgot my password, go into there they can find the last visit. In another system, they can see the total sales, and then they can have to calculate it, and then they go into a sales meeting. But with our table, they could just open their laptop, look into the Excel file, and see all the data, and then they were ready to go and sell. So we took their advice. We took the good, we took the bad. We went and learned some machine learning, because we promised machine learning. And so we went and actually did some data science, right? So we took the data sets, we created a tidy model, right? Observations and features, clean it up, make it nice. And then we started testing out different models, right? By the way, this is from a tool called Dataiku, and they're also here today. And I'm hoping for commission, really. This is why Hugo, if you're here, 5%. We'll talk. So once you do we ran the different models, and we found out which one was most successful. And then we gave them basically the same table once again, because they were used to it and it added value for them. This whole process, by the way, was around 2 weeks. And we came back, and instead of giving them the success factor, we actually gave them the probability of sale, no sale, 1-0, right? Binary. And this for them made more sense because our algorithm now was using about 15 features instead of the recency, frequency, monetary, which was using only 3. So it made more sense for them. They validated it, and they actually started using it, and they loved it. And before we go to the story about how this ended, I want to talk a little bit about what you do in between. So when you give this minimum viable product for them to test, you have to do something because they're going to test it for a week and then they'll come back with feedback. So what we did is we learned how to plate. And by that I mean that when you're working with data science, you also have this exploratory phase where you look at your data and you're trying to learn new insights. And we learned that it's very important to keep stakeholders engaged in your product. You can't just go in the dark corner and do data science and come after 3 months with the answer. You have to keep stakeholders involved, especially since they've never seen data science before. So what we did is we took some of the insights that we found while we were working with data science, and we presented it to them. So we went and told them, look, every time we visit a clinic, we see a spike in sales. And then it kind of mellows down again, and then we visit them again, and then there's another spike. And they were like, wow, cool. So I thought, that's nice, because we activated that short-term memory. Now they know that we exist, and we do something important. So then a couple of days later, we come with a different insight. So look, guys, this is our sales orders, and these are all the visits that our salesmen do. And here in the middle is, sales that fulfill the success criteria. And they were like, yeah, cool. So they know we existed, and they know we were doing data science, and this was one of the results, which was nice. And then we took it to the next level, and we did some cluster analysis. And we came back to them again, and we said, look, guys, we found some archetypes in our clinics that we're visiting as salespeople. We have customers that we visit too much, and that's kind of a turnoff. We have customers that we visit too little, and that's also a turnoff. And by the way, the customers that we visit too much are not the ones that add value. So, the Pareto principle, 80-20. So we might want to visit the ones that we don't visit that much. We also have customers that we shouldn't really visit at all because they're huge customers like governments and big organizations that they buy anyway. You don't need to visit them. You can use your time with the other customers. And then you have regular customers. And this time they were like, holy crap. They took this insight and they actually spoke with the sales company and said, you guys need to implement this. So the salespeople actually planned their next visits going forward by using this typology, using this, that we shouldn't really visit, the 20% or the 80% of the customers that give us 20% of the revenue. So this was a big thing. And this was because we were playing around with, data science and exploratory analysis, and nobody did that before. So they were really shocked about this. And the important thing that I'm trying to say here is that you need to serve your dish while it's hot. So as soon as we found insights, we immediately went to the stakeholders and showed them. Like, this is what we're working on. This is the value that we bring. And little by little, all the 18,000 employees in the company, if you ask them, they know about this project, and they know their name, and they know what we did, because we were good at marketing these insights everywhere. Probably a bit too much, if I'm to be honest. But it's what you have to do to promote data science, especially in a big company. So as a quick recap, up until this point, just so I don't lose you completely, you need to always have a business case, and you have to have data for it, right? You need to find a mastermind, so people from different departments that you click with, and they're very bright, and they're interested in solving this problem. You need to test hypotheses, right, and bring insights to the stakeholders. You need to make sure you market those results so that the organization knows and accepts data science little by little. It's small chunks. And you need to keep up the momentum, so you never have to drop the ball, because this is a hit and miss kind of scenario, because if you fail, then the organization say, yeah, I told you, it's just a buzzword. So you have to keep the momentum going. You have to always engage your mastermind, and you have to always meet and do this project and make sure it goes to completion. After you finish your dish, digestion starts. So I'm going to give you 4 pills, hard pills to swallow when you're going to go out into the world or in your company and you're going to try to implement data science. Pill number 1 is that, your organization may not know what data science is. So naturally, there will be no resources to allocate because it's daily operations, they're doing something else. So you're going to have to understand that you're going to have to work with what you have. You're going to have to work in small iterations with the team. You're going to have to meet maybe outside of schedule or whenever you find time, in the beginning at least. Pill number 2 is you need to allocate concentrated time. So we sat 1 full day every 3rd week. And we sat 8 hours together in one room, and that's all we thought about, and that's all we did. And surprisingly, we went really, really far with it. It turns out that when you sit with your email and your Skype closed, you get a lot of work done with the people that you enjoy and with the people you resonate with. The 3rd pill to swallow is that when you're doing your proof of concept, when you're doing your minimum viable product, when you're doing your insights, you're presenting new insights to people that have been working this way for 20 years. So they're going to challenge your insights. They're going to challenge, is this really, because we've been doing it differently, so how is this? So you need to know your math and your statistics. You need to be really well prepared to defend your data and your insights, because you will be challenged with it. Believe me. And pill number 4 is deployment. And you saw a lot of presentations today, and it seems like putting things into production is still somewhat of an issue for some companies, some more than others. And for your company, you've never done it before, so you need to plan ahead, and you need to be aware of the fact that you can't just hand carry this Excel sheet forever. You have to automize it. And so, for example, today we've met a lot of companies here that actually can help you do that. So it might, make a mental image or a mental, reminder that you might want to talk with some of them at some point, because they have some amazing tools to help you set things into production really easy. Now, the process itself is very easy. You build a minimum viable product, you show them to the users right away as fast as you can. You use it, you let them use it, you have to give them time to adapt to it because it's a new way of working. And you get their feedback. You get the good, you get the bad, you get the ugly, and then you start all over again. Just remember, in the meantime, you need to work on finding insights and presenting them to your organization so they get used to the fact that, data science can actually bring value to the company. I promised you the ending of the story. We did the A/B testing with our salesmen, so half of the salesmen in Germany didn't use this model, and half of them used it. And the ones that used it increased their sales by 60%. And that was on a time span of 2 months. So it did make sense, and it was a big, big turning point for our organization to realize that, data science can actually bring a lot of value to the organization. So all in all, we think that this recipe, I don't know if it's going to work for you like it worked for us, but I think you can find some inspiration in this process moving forward, in your organization at least. And as any good food recipe, there's always a secret ingredient, isn't it? There's always a catch. You try to do it the same as on the internet, but it's somehow, my fried chicken doesn't taste like Gordon Ramsay's for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he has a secret spice, and he probably does. So there is a secret ingredient to all of this, and this is going to be extremely important if you want to actually succeed with this. So, do you want to know the secret ingredient? You're going to have to do better. Let's use the last energy we have and all the pent-up, tiredness, and let's get. So do you want a secret ingredient? Yes. I'm a sneaky bastard because I already gave you the secret ingredient. This exact energy that you just gave me now, saying yes, you want it, that's exactly the secret ingredient. You need to be excited, because just as negative feelings, like criticizing and being negative, excitement is such a catchy feeling. It spreads like wildfire. It's so contagious. And when you're mastermind, when your team is so excited, and when you go to people enthusiastic and full of energy and try to show them the insights, and look what we found out, customers and sales and all that kind of stuff, you spread that energy across, and people all of a sudden feel like data science is not boring. It's not just math and statistics. It's actually, you can make money out of this, and you can show value, and you can make people's life easier, right? People that are sitting 360 days a year on the road in their car trying to sell, and you make their life easier, and their bonus is bigger. So, you have to be excited, and you have to keep that momentum going. So, I'm going to do something really weird, but, since you've been such a good crowd, I'm going to take a selfie with you. So, you know what? Those of you who aren't from Europe, we have this law. When you go out, you have to tell me if you want your face blurred. It's something my lawyer helped me with the formulation of that joke. It's just say Data Innovation Summit. Okay, some of you didn't smile, but that's okay. Photoshop. I thank you very much for your participation today. You've been an awesome crowd. I really enjoyed presenting for you.